evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. I'm going to wait until I can see that YouTube has me here on the air with you, because right now they're not showing me that. Figures. They still don't have me on the air with you guys. I've been on the air 45 seconds already. The same thing happened yesterday. Here we are. Welcome everybody to Emergency Management Associates. My name is Ron Tyler. I'm your host here. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody here to our program tonight. I see we're already getting buffered really right next to me in my monitor here, but we're on the air. Michael Cheney is here. He says, yes, sir, you're on the air. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. Can anybody give me a 5x5 letting me know that the sound and the video quality is good? That's all I need to know, is making sure the sound and video quality is good. I want to thank Demon Catman for being here with us tonight. Juanito from El Centro, California is here with us tonight. Thank you so much. Richard Smith from Nova Scotia is here. Thank you so much. My dear friend Susan Nort is here. Want to welcome her as well. Trish Killian is here. Everybody's giving me a 5x5. We appreciate you all here. Delete Funds is here as well. Thank you all for being here with us. My wife, Carol Tyler, is here. She says 5x5 here as well. That's awesome. Folks, I want to start off talking about Kilauea. Kilauea right now is not erupting. I want to show you this picture. I'm going to enlarge this picture so you can see it very clearly. The pink area here is Kilauea crater. This is an old picture, so it's not showing all the magma not the magma, but the lava inside this Holly Mau Mau crater here. The lava is all the way up here where you see my cursor. Okay, I don't know when USGS is going to update their map, but this is a bad map. The only thing good about it is where we're showing this fissure that opened up yesterday morning at 12:30 a.m. Now, this is not an accurate necessarily measure of the fissure. The fissure that opened up was about 2.5 miles long. 2.5 miles long. Now, I want to give you a little update about what has happened so far today. I want to take you on a little bit of a tour, letting you know what has happened. Hawaii is a big island. The big island of Hawaii is a big island. And they have big problems. They have things that they have to deal with. The Kilauea crater erupting is a big deal. Now, let me tell you, except for the lava not erupting today, and hasn't since about 11 a.m. About 12 noon yesterday, it stopped erupting. It paused, and it's still paused. The Kilauea volcano is not erupting right now. The eruption, like I said, began yesterday morning at 12:30 a.m., Monday, June 3rd. The place it erupted was about 4 kilometers long, 2.5 miles long. This eruption was southwest of Kilauea itself, within the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. Now, it paused somewhere around 11 a.m. to 12 noon Hawaii Standard Time yesterday. The levels of unrest remain high. The levels of unrest at Kilauea remain high. That means that the volcanic alert level has not changed since yesterday. The current volcano alert level is watch. Current aviation color code is orange. Okay? Now, the vent remains open. The vent that we showed you yesterday remains open. But the spattering that you saw, the volcanic fountains going up into the air, 30 to 80 feet in the air, have stopped. Okay, the eruption for all intents and purposes has stopped. Okay, the vent remains open and some tremors are still hitting the area. The glow, the orange or fluorescent glow, was observed after sundown yesterday from the fissures from the night before. Active outgassing. Active outgassing from the fissure and also from the lava field that had erupted out over the landscape is degassing, meaning SO2 and CO2 gases are coming up from the lava. That means the lava is still hot. The outgassing, the SO2, is still occurring. It's still dangerous, okay? And it's blowing downwind. Changes in the character and location of unrest can occur quickly. Just because the volcano right now has stopped erupting, it could re-erupt again. The potential for eruption or re-eruption is very high, okay? But the same fissure that erupted yesterday is still there, and the lava is at the top of the fissure. But it has stopped fountaining. That's a good thing. It has stopped fountaining. Now, I want to give you a little bit of update about what's going on. No lava is currently erupting from the fissure system that formed yesterday. The last active spattering at the vents was observed at 9 a.m. on June 3rd, Hawaii Standard Time. The lava flows were sluggish during the hour before noon on June 3rd, yesterday. The lava flows were sluggish, meaning the thickness of the lava coming out of the crater fissures was thick. Okay? Yesterday during the eruption it was viscous. But after a short while, after a few hours, the lava became thicker. Okay? It was not moving as fast. There is, again, a continuous glow that has been observed on webcam images overnight at the site of the fissures. It has been confirmed by a morning overflight of a helicopter. Now, I was going to show you an overflight of the helicopter, but they are not permitting me to do so. Like I said, there is active outgassing of sulfur dioxide gas that is still occurring, and there's a measured rate of approximately 12,000 tons of SO2 per day. 12,000 tons of sulfur dioxide gas coming from the fissures and also from the lava field that erupted yesterday. Numerous large ground cracks, like I showed you yesterday, are still there. Those ground cracks formed in the vicinity of the eruption, and they extended westward to within 540 yards or 500 meters of Mauna Iki. The cluster of earthquakes present in the area yesterday afternoon ended overnight last night. Now, I want to report about the ground deformation. Prior to the eruption, the ground was rising. The ground was rising. The GPS machines that were out in the field showed the ground rising up, meaning the magma was still trying to find a way to the surface. So the ground was rising up. Right before the eruption, the earthquake stopped, meaning probably that the magma beneath the surface had finally found a tunnel whereby it didn't have to fracture rock any longer and was headed to the surface, and that's what happened. The ground deformation over the past 24 hours, however, has shown deflationary trends, meaning it has subsided. The ground has gone back down. It's called subsidence. The ground has gone back down. Now that that level has pretty much gone flat, it may be slightly inflationary, slightly, probably millimeters high, because there's still magma down there beneath the surface south of the caldera. The caldera is that area where Kilauea is. Okay, I showed you that area just a few minutes ago. The ground deformation over the past 24 hours showed deflationary trends. Now, that is pretty much stopped because the lava has stopped erupting. There is some magma pressure that has been released beneath Halemaumau crater, Kilauea. Okay? There has been some magma pressure released beneath Kilauea and the south part of the caldera region as a result of yesterday's eruption just south of the crater. While the tremors remain, slight tremors remain, seismicity and deformation have been minor following the outset of the original eruption. Due to the remote location of the eruption, there have been low plume heights, meaning the volcanic plumes, the fountaining, has been relatively low, no more than 30 to 60 feet high. And there's been minimal impact to population. As I showed you a minute ago in that picture of the Kilauea crater and where the eruption site was, the deformation has gone down and there's been no influence from the lava eruption on the population. Now, people have hiked down into the Volcano National Park. I have pictures, but I'm also not allowed to show those. They don't want to encourage anybody anywhere near this. People that hiked down into that area also had to be on an upper area because they did not want anybody near the eruption site. Okay, but people were there above the eruption site in the hills above the site just to get an idea of what it was like. Okay, but due to the remote location, it's had the lava eruption yesterday had minimal impact on the population. Okay, it was about 23 miles north of Pahala. Pahala is that small town way to the south there where Laura Marie's grandson and his family live. Her grandson graduated from high school, I guess on Friday last week. Okay, but the eruption has had little population impact at all. The U.S. Hawaiian Volcano Observatory has lowered Kilauea's alert level aviation color code from warning red to watch orange. That happened yesterday morning, and it's still in effect today. It's watch orange because the volcano could erupt again. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about the Hawaii volcanoes. All of the volcanoes in Hawaii are what they call shield volcanoes, distinguished from the more familiar stratovolcanoes like Mount Rainier or Mount St. Helens. The shield volcanoes have a greater breadth. They have a greater breadth, a footprint, and they have lower gradient slopes. The slopes are not as steep as we see at Mount Rainier, Mount Baker, over at St. Helens and Mount Hood. The slopes are very much lower, okay? Kilauea's average slope, get this. Kilauea's average slope to the east is only 3.3 inches. The slope gradient is no more than 3.3 inches. And the south slope from the summit to the ocean floor averages only 6 degrees. 6 degrees, that's like this. So the slope level of Kilauea is very low. It would be a volcano or a mountain that could be easily hiked to. if you took a while to get there. Okay? When the volcano is over this hot spot, meaning the volcanic plume that is bringing the magma from the South Pacific. When the volcano is over the hot spot, plentiful supply of magma allows it to build a broad shield. A broad shield. When the volcano loses its supply of magma, it dies. And it's eroded back to the sea. It's eroded back to sea level. Erosion can happen from various things. First, rain. Rainfall can erode a volcano. Lava is somewhat not dense. Some lava rock, depending on where it comes from, it's very brittle. It can turn to dust very quickly. It doesn't take much pressure to have a lava rock disintegrate. Rain, heavy rains erodes volcanoes very religiously, literally. Okay? So when it rains over there in Hawaii, that rainwater and the washing of the sand rock coming from the volcano, yes, the volcano has black lava rock, sand. That sand and the water from the rain erode the other parts of the volcano. Erode the rock of the volcano, the lava. And eventually, if that continued like that, the volcano would go back to sea level. Okay? Like the rest, Kilauea is composed mostly of alternating what they call subaerial or submarine lava flows. Subaerial means below the atmosphere. Submarine lava flows are beneath the ocean. And those lava flows are fractured by cooling joints that are embedded with weaker rock sediments. Those cooling joints of the lava are embedded with other weaker rock sediments and tephra, ash, resulting in what has been characterized as a fractured rock mass. A fractured rock mass. We know that when the magma is coming up into the magma chamber, it's fracturing the rock. The same thing happens with wind, with rain, and the sea level. Okay? The sea also helps to erode volcanoes very nicely. Now, these discontinuities form zones of weakness that lead to slope failure. They lead to slope failure. Now, why am I talking about that? I want to talk right now about Hilina slump. Hilina slump. The weight of the rock mass, causes extension or what they call stretching. The rock mass, the heaviness or weight of the rock mass causes stretching downhill. Now, many of you have asked me about the Hilina slump. So I'm going to put some time into this today to talk about the Hilina slump. Okay? Now, there are various ways that the Hilina slump and other slumps or landslides, and yes, that's what's happened to the Hilina slump. It's a landslide, vertical structures. Vertical structures such as dip, slip faults, and rift zones parallel to the slope. These disconnect the rock mass from the upper flank, putting more stress on any non-vertical planes. Non-vertical planes. We're talking about horizontal movement. Non-vertical planes. Vertical planes are rock masses more like we would see over at the San Andreas Fault. Vertical rock masses. Here in Hawaii, because the island was built by volcanic action, it has these horizontal rock masses. And as a result, when water seeps into the rock bed of the volcano, it can erode the rock. And that's what we see happening over near the Hilina slump. There's actually been landslides, okay? Landslides, putting more stress on that vertical plane or weakness, which has caused some failure of a slip zone. It's caused some failure of a slip zone. Now, I'm going to show you a picture of the Hilina slump. But first, I want to talk about a couple of scientists named Smith and Molhoff. Smith and Molhoff wrote a paper in 1999. They wrote a paper called magma jacking, and as a major cause of slope failure for the Hilina slump. Magma jacking occurs when fresh magma is injected into a pre-existing fracture, just like we saw yesterday. The reason we had that eruption yesterday is magma found its way into a chamber, into a hole. Pre-existing fractures or weak rock. That's how the magma found its way up to the surface yesterday. It found pre-existing fractures because right before the eruption, there was no earthquakes. Like I said, the magma found its way into pre-existing tunnel or fracture area. So it was no longer having a fracture rock in the area. The pressure of the injected magma serves to break apart the rock, fracturing the rock, leading to slope failure. That's what we saw yesterday. Dustin Caglick just gave us another $4.99 $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Dustin. We appreciate that so much. It really does mean the world to me. Thank you so much. God bless you for that, Dustin. So we had slope failure. Slope failure is what the Hilina slump has done. That has been caused by slope failure. Okay? I want to make sure everyone realizes why. Okay? Everybody asks me all the time, is the Hilina slump going to be affected by what happened yesterday? No, it's not. Not right now anyway. Okay? Now, these two scientists proposed that Kilauea's status as a secondary volcanic structure on the flanks of larger Mauna Loa, a larger Mauna Loa that's right directly west of Kilauea. Okay, that makes it more susceptible to catastrophic failure. Catastrophic failure of the lower rock mass. Okay, these scientists observed that this trend holds true for many of the historic landslides that they have observed in the Hawaii volcanic chain. Now, I want to show you a picture. I want to show you a real good picture of what exactly is going on. Okay? First off, I want to show you a really good picture of the Hilina slump. Okay? Now, give me a minute so this picture looks good. I want to point out what has happened. Now, Kilauea is up here. The Hilina slump is down here. The Hilina slump is down here, and it goes north to northeast here. Now, most of you know that there have been rumors for about 3 years now, maybe 4 years, there have been rumors that this Hilina slump would fall off from the Big Island and go out into the ocean. It has not happened, and they don't believe it's going to happen, at least for a good long time. This is not happening. What happened here was a volcanic landslide. The land moved and fell. There is a ridge here. There is a pretty high ridge here. The land fell here to the tune of about 20, 25 feet. It fell. the magma beneath the surface, the pressures of the magma, and the water out here in the ocean also put pressure here. The erosion of the rain and the sand, the black sand that has been eroded from the volcano, has caused this area to fall. Erosion. And this Hilina slump fell. Now, it is not expected to fall off the ocean or fall off into the ocean. It's not expected. Now, what else has happened here? The public, and I don't know where it started. We have no scientific evidence where this story started. But about 4 years ago, when we had the last eruption at Kilauea, when the lava spread over here from Kilauea and Pu'u right here, the lava spread out under the ground in magma tunnels. It went out here to Fern Forest and further northeast into Leilani Estates, and it further erupted. Those eruptions in 2019 produced more landmass here in the Fern Forest area and out at Leilani Estates. The lava left the fissure eruption areas, and it drifted down the hills until it got to the ocean. Okay, that's what happened. But the pressures of magma beneath the surface can cause a rise up of lava here. The ground here can cause a rise up of land here and a falling here. That's what happened. That's why the Hilina slump is where it is. It's a difference of about 25 feet here. Okay, that's what happened. Now, there are other volcanoes around the Big Island. We have the Pululu slump over here. There's actually a volcano here. We've also told you in the past 5 years when we've been doing the program here, we have the Loihi. Loihi is an underwater volcano here, a submarine volcano. Also, we have the Papu seamount here. The seamount is an underwater volcano here. We have the Hilina slump over here. This whole area is called the Hilina slump. This area is underwater here. We have a Pua Point. Okay? This was a volcano one time. This was a volcano one time, and it was eroded out of existence. Okay? This whole area is volcanic, and it continues to rumble. I've shown you pictures of seismic activity here in this area. It's going to continue. It is going to continue. And at some point, these seamounts, Loihi and Papua seamount, are going to rise up, and they may even join the landmass here at the Big Island. Or they may form their own island out here in the sea. It depends on the amount of magma that the volcano releases. Okay? That's what's happened here. Do we have any questions so far? Richard Smith is here in the chat saying, volcanism makes me mindful at all times as of late. I think it should. My wife and I are very mindful of what's going on. We have a volcano down south in South Carolina. It's called Kings Mountain. It's a volcano in South Carolina. We also know that back about 3 years ago, there was a volcanic eruption over in Massachusetts, in Boston. At that point in time, it was not an eruption, it was an earthquake in Boston. It was a 5.1 earthquake in Boston. Well, scientists went out to the earthquake epicenter and found it to be a volcano. It found that the epicenter of that earthquake was a volcano over in Boston. They thought that the volcano was non-existent. Well, guess what? It definitely is existent. As we've been telling you, all of the volcanoes are reawakening. Scientists have said the volcanoes are dead volcanoes. Scientists have said they have not been awakened for years and years, and they basically been put to bed. They're not. Now the volcanoes are reawakening. Linda Covington is asking, are people feeling this? Right now they're not feeling anything around Kilauea at all. The earthquakes around Kilauea and this whole area are just minor. North of Kilauea up here, yesterday, right before the eruption, we had a 4.1 and a 4.0 earthquake. We had a 4.5 earthquake right here. This was the area where where yesterday's eruption happened, near Mauna Iki. Okay? That's what happened. Now I have one of my dear friends, Brokefish N, who was, and he may still be live on the air. You guys ought to know Brokefish. He's been here in our chat before. NCWQ Explorer is here with us now. I believe she just gave us a $5 super chat. Becky, save your money, please. Becky has some things that she needs to do, and I love her to death. She's a very dear friend of ours. She just gave us another $5 super chat. Thanks so much, Becky. God bless you for that. The Brokefish said there's no new updates on a fire in Northern California. There is a fire that fire crews are working north of Redding, California. Okay? The fire season is already started. There are other fires in California, but they're just minor. The one over north of Redding is a real wildfire. That's out in the mountains of Northern California. It's going to be nasty this year. I believe the fire season is going to be very bad. Okay? Richard Smith is saying that there's fault in volcano systems under Nova Scotia. And Richard, you are right. In the Bay of Fundy. There are seamount volcanoes in the Bay of Fundy. There are volcanoes all along the coast of the North America, Canada, and the United States. There are volcanoes on the other side of the United States off the west coast as well. We've seen the black tar that was washed up on our beaches. That is lava that had pushed out or seeped out of the seafloor and washed up on the beaches. Okay? There is volcanic systems underneath the water. Okay? So that's what's going on there. Now, what happened yesterday is only probably preliminary to what could happen. Now, we told you that during the eruptions, I'm showing you this picture right here. This is what happened early yesterday morning over there south of Kilauea. This is a fissure eruption. And you can see some of these fissures with the fountaining going up to 30 to 60 feet high. It looked intense. It looked very intense, while other places it was very low and only showed a red or orange glow on the surface. That's pretty much what this whole fissure is right now. It's showing a fluorescent orange glow on the surface, and that's all it's doing. As you can see, all this smoke that you see here is outgassing of CO2 and SO2, carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide gases. This whole lava flow, all this lava flow that's new, it is outgassing now. It's not a healthy place to be. Only scientists that are wearing heavy-duty equipment should even go out here. If you are in Hawaii, please do not go out here. Stay away from this eruption site, at least till things cool off. This lava could be very intensive, being about 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's horribly hot. You could burn yourselves. Your shoes could burn through. You don't want to go there. You definitely don't want to go there. I want to show you another slide that we showed you yesterday. Along with the fissure eruption, other places over near the eruption site had great big huge fissures that opened up, like this. The magma from that eruption opened up other fissures. This is what it looked like. Now, what happens when we usually have a fissure like this? Usually this is the remnants of an earthquake. In this case, the magma from underneath the ground forced the ground to separate. And this is what happened. There are many fissures in the ground. Now, if anyone got near any one of these fissures and fell in, it would be goodbye probably forever. These are deep fissures. Again, there has been helicopter trips throughout this area, and they flew over these fissures. They are very deep. If you are over in Hawaii and see any one of these fissures, stay away from it. Don't even chance it. As you see, even over here, on the left-hand side lower part of the photograph here, some of these landmass over the fissure are just hanging landmass. You don't want to put any more stress on this. It could collapse, and then you would go down into the fissure. Don't do it. Stay away from it. Linda Covington says, awesome measuring instruments. Yes, they are awesome measuring instruments. USGS Volcanic Observatory there in Hawaii has GPS measuring devices. They have what they call tilt meters, where they can show the land mass actually rising and how much it is rising to one side or the other, which would put the magma on one side or the other with the land mass going up. And together with a tilt meter, they can show the land mass increasing. Okay? That's what's going on here. Now, like I said, the scientists are still trying to wrap their head about what's going on. They're trying to wrap their head around what's going on. Now, over here, I want to show you one more picture here, one more photo. Now, I want to show you this photo, and I'm going to enlarge it so you can truly see what's going on. As I said, the Kilauea crater is here. The Hilina slump is down here. The Hilina slump goes from all the way here to the north, all the way down here to the south. Okay? Now, we're talking about vectors. We're talking about magma pushing up on the ground here. Every time lava erupts over here at Kilauea crater, it puts pressure on the surrounding landmass. It puts pressure out here to the west. You see the arrows pointing out here to the northwest here, and down south here, and over here to the east. Great pressures. Huge pressures. And that magma beneath the surface is putting pressure here. And it's also causing some landslide. The Hilina slump fell. It's part of a huge landslide. Okay? I wanted to show you this because this is very vivid detail. Linda Covington is asking, spider instruments in the volcano? No, around the volcano. Right now, I think they may have a GPS device down inside the crater at the caldera, the floor level of Kilauea. Yes, Kilauea volcano does erupt, and the caldera rises. The caldera actually rises. The table The caldera can be referred to as a table. The table rises up. Lava beneath that caldera pushes the table up. And sometimes, and we've seen pictures where the lava has broken through, or the magma has broken through the caldera at Kilauea, causing an eruption fountaining inside the caldera of Kilauea. Okay? We've shown you pictures in the past of this happening. They don't have, I don't think they have any more than a tilt meter down inside Kilauea. They may have a small seismograph down there. I think that's probably just about all. That's a good observation, Linda. We appreciate that too. What do the colors mean? Almost nothing. Almost nothing. Let me bring up this picture of the eruption location. I want to show you this again. This shows some coloring. This shows some coloring. Well, this isn't the picture I want to show you. Okay. Over here at Mauna Loa, it shows kind of a pink area here. This pink area is previously erupted. This pink area here is previously erupted. Now, I thought I had another slide here. No, I did, right here. I'm sorry, right here. Okay? The pink area here is previously erupted. This is the caldera floor. This is an old picture. Again, the caldera is way up here. Okay? There's maybe 100 feet between the caldera and the rim of the volcano. Okay? This is the northern side. This is the southern side of Kilauea. Hale Mau Mau Crater. They call it Hale Mau Mau Crater at Kilauea. Now down here, okay? This is the eruption site. This is the eruption site. Red here is the newly erupted lava at the surface. Okay? The pink is previously erupted area. Okay? That's what we're showing here. Good observation, guys. We appreciate it. Thanks, Aubrey. Pink is previously erupted. The reds are present eruption now. The lines, the broken lines here are the fissures that opened up yesterday. Only the fissures that had lava flowing out of them. There are other fissures to the southeast here. There are also some fissures that open up here to the west that did not have lava coming out of those. Now it could happen. It could happen that we may have more of an eruption, but right now, as of about noon Hawaii time yesterday, the eruption has stopped. But there is active lava at the tops of the fissure. There's still active orange-red lava up at the top of the fissure. That was a great observation, guys. I appreciate that. Are there any other questions about Hilina slump, Kilauea, the eruption that's happened? I want to show you because I think this is very important to understand. I think this is very, very important to understand what has happened, what is actually going on. My buddy Don Patokas here. Guys, in case you haven't met Don before, you may have seen him here in the chat, unless you're brand new here. Don Patoka is a very dear friend of mine from a long time ago. Don and I go way back years. Don is a very dear friend of mine. Demon Catman, I've known now for about, at least a year and a half now, maybe a little bit longer. Linda Covington has been a longtime friend of our program and a friend of mine for about 5 years now, at least 3 to 5 years. Aubrey's been a very dear friend of mine as well. So guys, we do have friends here. Some of my friends are mods here, as you can see. They've been friends of mine. They're helping protect my reputation here. They're helping protect the chat so we can talk and discuss things going on. We want to do that. We want to keep, and Rebecca, NCWQ Worldwide News and Disasters Explorer, is also a very long dear friend of mine. She's a mod here. We appreciate all of you mods, okay? I want her to have a mod meeting today on her messenger thread on Facebook Messenger, but I didn't get home in time. I was out looking at the house I'm looking to get. Put my hands on, if you want to say that, or see how that goes. I'd appreciate any and all of you supporting me in getting the money for a deposit on that home. I really appreciate that so much, if you can afford to do so. Please, if you cannot afford to part with that money, please don't do it. Keep that money for yourself when you need it. If you do have a few dollars here or there, and you can send them over to PayPal or over to our Cash App, or you can send them inside of a card or a letter over to our post box, you can do that. Okay? We really appreciate that. Within about 10 minutes after this program ends, we are going to put in the program description, right below this program that you're seeing here, in the program description, just below it, we're going to be putting all that information there for you so you have it available if you want to help support our program. We're also going to put our email address there as well. We appreciate all of you supporting us there. Now, I did get some emails about people that wanted to become mods. I'm still reviewing that, and I will be calling you guys to talk with you about becoming a mod on this program. If you want to become a mod on this program, you need to be with me for at least a year or so. I want to see you talk on the chat, associate with other chat room members and members of our EMA family. That's very important. I want you to see what goes on, so you're very familiar with what happens and how the mods can help control the chat room and help us become more of a family and help each other work. That's what we do here. We help each other. We help each other prepare for anything that could happen. Okay? But again, we're talking right now about Kilauea. We're talking about the eruption yesterday, and we're talking about the Hilina slump. I think it's very important. I want everybody to understand what has happened and why. Okay? The science of volcanism is moving forward. What I learned back in college almost doesn't even apply anymore. Scientists have moved the science forward. It is never stagnant. It has never been stagnant. It moves forward. And as a result, we have to keep up with the science. We have to understand it. We need to understand what's going on and why. And that's why I put in a lot of hours and time putting all this information together for you, to help you understand what's going on. Not just that it's happening, but why. I want everybody to understand why. Okay? Now, the eruption yesterday, okay? It was south of Kilauea volcano itself. Holly-Mau-Mau crater. It was south of there, okay? USGS Hawaiian Volcanic Observatory has established machines, global positioning unit, GPS stations at various places on the southern flank of Kilauea during 2003 to 2006, and some places all over the rest of the island. They put these GPS systems in. Mauna Loa, Mauna Kea, and Hualalai, the 4 other volcanoes on this island. We talked about the Hilina slump. We talked about why it has moved and the possibility of it moving again. It's very possible that it will never move, but there is a slight possibility it will. Like I said, about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, there was a lot of people saying the Hilina slump is going to fall off the big island and cause a tsunami on the west coast of North America and Mexico. It has not happened, and it doesn't look like it's going to. The landslide is slow. The landslide is very slow. At the most, the land is sliding no more than 3 to 6 inches per year. It's very slow. Okay? Richard Smith is here in the chat saying he's very thankful to Emergency Management Associates for all this valuable information. I want to make sure you're clear on it. You've asked me a lot of questions over the past few years and even the last few days and weeks. I want to make sure you have the information you need to answer your questions, to relieve your concerns. There are people living over here on the Big Island of Hawaii that watch our program. Kathy Paina, Laura Marie. We have a woman named Gina that's over there as well. I want to make sure everyone is understanding what is happening. You guys may hear about it, but I want to make sure you understand what is happening and why. That way it relieves your concerns. You don't have to worry about it. That's why we're here. As I said, the Hilina slump is over on the southeast side or flank of Kilauea. It is probably one of the most noticeable of landslides ever been on any one of the volcano Hawaii Islands. These landslides are the means by which material that is deposited at the volcano's vents. The vents are what you saw at the fissures yesterday. Those are volcanic vents. These landslides are the means by which that material deposited at the volcano vents are transferred downward and out to sea. All that sand and grit run down by the rain and other things that are going on, rain and wind, that black rock volcanic sand is moving to the sea line, moving to sea level. Okay? That's what happens. That's what happens in Hawaii. And eventually it will spill out onto the seabed, out into the water. And it's broadening the island out. It's broadening the island. At some point, all that sand, that rock that's washing down from the volcanoes is going to establish more land on the Big Island. Okay? That, and when we have the submarine volcanoes that light off, one day we're going to have a larger island or several islands off the southeast coast of Hawaii and off the west coast and the east coast of Canada and the United States. That's what's happening. Kilauea's entire south flank, extending out to Cape Kuumukumai, is currently sliding seaward, with some parts of that central portion overlooking the Hilina slump. Kuumukumai, and I know I'm butchering it, Kumukaahi. Kuumukumai is currently sliding eastward. It's west and above the Hilina slump. It is moving as much as 10 centimeters, 3.9 inches a year. And that's not even the Hilina slump itself. Now, it's pushed by the forceful injection of magma and pulled by gravity. The injection of magma into the volcanic system is raising that land up, and it's sliding down. It's sliding down. A landslide. Okay? Current movement of the Hilina slump and recent volcanic activity, coupled with the evidence of massive submarine slides in the geological past. Submarine slides are volcanoes under the water, out at sea. Okay? This has led to claims that there's going to be a mega tsunami, which might result if the south flank of Kilauea should suddenly fall. Scientists do not believe that's going to happen. They don't believe it's going to happen. White Lotus, send me an email. Send me an email and I'll answer that question. I'm asking everybody to maintain a conversation about what we're talking about here. Pat Pfeiffer is a new sub here. Thank you so much, Pat, for joining our family here. We appreciate you being here. I love new members of our EMA family. Our EMA family is growing very fast. I was hoping by the end of June we'd be at 5,000 subscribers, 5,000 members of our family. Now, I've also, in the past few weeks, established membership. You can be a sub to this channel, a subscriber to the channel. I have also offered everyone to have a membership in this channel. Memberships are very inexpensive. $1.99 for level 1 EMA membership. EMA 2s are $2.99. EMA 3s are $3.99. It's very inexpensive to be a member here at EMA. Tomorrow, I'm hoping sometime around 12 noon to have a members-only meeting. To discuss whatever you guys want to talk about, to ask questions of me personally about things that might concern you, and also I'm hoping to talk about the kinds of emojis that you would like to see on the EMA chat. So we're going to talk about that. I Love Zenrio is here as well. Hello. Welcome. Arnold Schmidt is here in the chat saying AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile outages in 24 states, including 911 systems that have been affected. Now, give me a second, guys. This concerns me because it could concern or should concern all of us. So give me a chance here and let me look at the outage map. Okay? Now I'm going to look at the outage map here. AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile customers are having issues getting calls out here. The Honolulu Star advertiser is saying wireless call outages in several states are under investigation. I'm going to look into this right now. Okay? AT&T has reported an outage this afternoon that affects a bunch of mobile customers and their ability to make phone calls wherever they're at, especially in Alaska. ChatGPT is down again. That is also another story here. Kristen Cashel just joined our EMA Level 3. Thank you so much, Kristen. God bless you for that. We appreciate all of you joining our family here and our memberships here. Now, I'm going to pull up the down detector. Okay? The Verizon, T-Mobile, and the cable systems outages. Okay? Let's look at this whole program here. Holy crud. Well, guess what, guys? It's not just AT&T, Verizon, or T-Mobile. CenturyLink is involved. Credit One Bank is involved. Hulu is involved. Discord in some areas are down. Disney Plus is also down here. Let me look here. Netflix is down in some areas. First Horizon Bank, Consumer Cellular, Straight Talk Wireless, Walmart. Let me look here. DoorDash systems are down in some areas. Amazon the same way. There has been some effect on Facebook. CenturyLink, Credit One Bank, Discord, Hulu. The games people are playing, Escape from Tarkov. Call of Duty is having problems. Tai Chi Panda. Xbox. Frontier Communications, Instagram. Reddit, Cricket Wireless, Cox Cable. Some places YouTube is down. I had problems when I first tried to get here on YouTube to come together with this program for you tonight. I had a problem at first, and it says I was unable to communicate with the servers, YouTube servers. So YouTube might be having problems as well. MediaCon is having problems. Redbox is having problems. Xfinity, T-Mobile, Spectrum, Verizon, AT&T, Destiny, they're all having issues. This is a general issue throughout the United States, probably not just here in the U.S. Aubrey asking, is a cyber attack? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Okay? But I just told you all of the areas that are having issues. NCWQ is talking about the Philippines, Can Leon volcanoes that erupted yesterday with a blast of up to 5,000 meters high. That's huge. Another blast that happened over in central Indonesia, near Halmahera, Indonesia, was Dukono volcano today. An 8,000 foot blast. An 8,000 foot blast out of Dukono volcano. That is huge. Usually Dukono volcano in Halmahera, Indonesia only goes up to 6,000 to 7,000 feet. Today an 8,000 foot blast out of Dukono volcano. That's huge. That is really huge. All right. Outages in the United States are under investigation now. They don't know why. Let me go here and read to you what we've found here. I think, again, this is important that everybody have this information. That's why I'm taking the time right now. It says AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile said that some customers were having problems with calls made I don't know why it's not letting me here. They're saying that the extent of the problem is not immediately clear. AT&T said in a statement they have had issues with some of their equipment that is affecting the ability of customers to complete calls between themselves and other people. So this is a general statement just from AT&T by itself. Let me see if there's any more information here. Verizon, the same thing. They're working to determine the nature of the issue and what actions need to be taken. AT&T added that their network was not experiencing a nationwide outage. Verizon said in a statement its network was operating normally, but some of its customers in the U.S. Northeast were having issues. The customers in the Northeast were having issues. Just a second, I'm trying something else here. The FCC and the New York Attorney General Letitia James said in February they were investigating the cause of an AT outage earlier that month, as well as a teleconference response. The outage lasted more than 10 hours and impacted over 70,000 customers. AT&T credited those customers. Okay, so they are investigating the outages now from all of the carriers. Yes, it could be a cyber attack. That has happened before. That has definitely happened before. Let's look here. Let's see. WSOC TV has done a report here as well. Let me see if I can find their report and let you know what they've said. They say Verizon, T-Mobile, and Sprint are experiencing large outages here in North Carolina, all across North Carolina. I have not tried to make any calls as of recently, so I don't really know if that's even happening here. Okay, that was WSOC TV here in North Carolina. Let's see. Plus, everyone needs to know we've had some interesting situations here where I live. And we have more clouds moving in now. I fully expected, according to reports that I've gotten, that we are supposed to be under a tornado watch, or at least, in the very least, a severe thunderstorm watch right now where I live. So far, and I want to show you a video that I recorded earlier today right outside my own front door. It was a unique experience for me to show you, or record this information to show you. Okay? Now, first, I want to show you a map showing where the severe thunderstorm occurred here in Morganton, North Carolina, where I live. Okay? I live right here, right in the middle of this thunderstorm here. This is why it was not immediately on at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Usually I try to come on somewhere between 6 and 7, and it was just after 7 p.m. tonight. I couldn't come on because we had a thunderstorm and severe rain. I want to show you what happened here. I want to show you what happened. This is wild. Okay, look at that. Hold on a second. Right here. This is right after 6 p.m. Eastern Time. At one point, right before I recorded this, the rain was coming down even heavier. It was like a huge sheet of rain. You could hardly see out the doorway. That's what happened earlier this evening, and that was the reason I didn't come on until after 7 p.m. That's the way it happens. Richard Smith says he needs to work on a car antenna system for ham radio too. Please do that, Richard. We appreciate you being here, though. Thank you for being here. Daryl Stevens Sr. says he lives in Slidell, Louisiana, and we had severe storm come through. Though now our power is out, power company said they will restore by 1:03 a.m. this evening. I hope they do. I hope you do. Munir's Wrath is here. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Lanier's Wrath was in Wages World channel last night. I also monitor Wages World. Wages World came on after I was on last night. I am fortunate enough to try to be on Wages World and also Mark Pires' show as well. I try to stay current with both those shows. They're great. Wages World showed us the solar eruption that happened. A great eruption on the sun, causing a coronal mass ejection. A solar flare that launched out from the sun that's now affecting Earth now. If you want to see that program from last night, I will be putting the link to his program on our program description once I get off the air tonight. It was huge. NCWQ Explorer Becky says we have a storm coming in now. Yes, we do. The storm clouds are huge here. Okay, I see cumulonimbus clouds out here, which are thunderheads developing now. We're going to have a severe thunderstorm here. It was supposed to be here by 8 o'clock. It's now 8:30, and it's still building here. It's crazy. And NCWQ is also going to see bad weather where she lives here in North Carolina. We live about 2 hours apart, something like that. Kristen Cashin says, got to get out of here. I'm very glad I was able to be here. Thank you for being here, Kristen. We really appreciate it. And please come back and see us every day if you can. We appreciate you being here. Don Patoka says, time to invest in an ark? We might. We might. That's funny. Don, you're awesome. You're awesome. Lanier's Wrath said something in the chat that I think is important. The more interconnected we get, the more overall power we have at leisure in times of information. The more we are connected, the more information we get from each other and from this program. So we appreciate everybody being here. Okay? Lanier's Wrath says, everyone remember when they had hundreds or even thousands of telephones memorized by heart? I do. I had my own telephone book I had put together. I could go to my telephone book, which is a notebook, and flip it open and find one of my friends' names, and I could go and dial their telephone number. Wonderful thing. Wonderful thing. Now, I know I've said a lot of information, I've given you a lot of information. I want to just go over all and let you know what's been going on throughout the world. We have about 28 earthquakes in Indonesia today. We had another earthquake over in Tonga, a large earthquake in Tonga. We had 2 earthquakes over in the South Pacific near Easter Island. One was a 5.4. One was a 5.4, guys. It was a big deal. Out in the middle of the Pacific near Easter Island. Now, there were 2 earthquakes there. I'm going to bring those earthquakes to you in just a second. I want to show you what happened. This is a 5.4 near Easter Island. The other earthquake here was a 4.8. This is a 5.4. The other earthquake next to it was a 4.8. Large earthquake and a moderate 4.8. Further south, this is on the West Chile Rise. The West Chile Rise is on the southern part of Chile, but out to sea. This was a 5.5 earthquake there. A 5.5 earthquake there. Look at the earthquakes there in the Pacific, just off the coast of Chile. Now you see all these earthquakes going up here into southern Peru and northern Chile here. Guess what? There's 38 earthquakes here in South America. 38 earthquakes between Peru, Chile here, and up here in Colombia. There were 4 earthquakes here in Colombia. 2 of them have been taken down. Fascinating. Really fascinating. Now there's something else I want to show you, if it will let me. Down here off the coast of Costa Rica, this is a 3.0 earthquake. But, right here, they took down a 5.0 large earthquake here just south of Panama. A 5.0 earthquake here just south of Panama. They've taken it down. Why have they taken it down? I have no clue. But as you can see, 10 earthquakes here in Central America. Costa Rica, Nicaragua, El Salvador, and Guatemala. But guess what? Guess what? Look at all these earthquakes here in southern Mexico. 48 earthquakes here in southern Mexico. USGS shows none of them. USGS did not show any earthquakes in Central America either. I did. All this seismic energy is going north. All this seismic energy you see here in southern Mexico is going north. All it's going north. Look at this earthquake over in the Gulf of California. This is a 4.0, 3.9, 4.0 over here in the Gulf of California. What earthquake fault is this? This is the San Andreas Fault. The San Andreas Fault here. Okay? Over here, just off the coast of, ouch. I'm sorry. Just off the coast of Puerto Vallarta, right here. This is a 4.1 earthquake. Just off the coast of Puerto Vallarta, right here. Okay? Also on the San Andreas Fault. Fascinating. Now, I want to show you something else. This is important. Look at the earthquakes down here, just south of the U.S.-Mexican border up here. Okay? We have more earthquakes here in the upper part or northern part of the Gulf of California. A 3.6 near San Felipe and a 3.8. 3.6 and a 3.8 near San Felipe. Okay? Going up here to the north. Guess what? More earthquakes here in North Mexico. Northern Mexico. It's happening. It's happening. People have been asking me, sending me emails, what do I mean, or even in comments after our program, what do I mean it's happening? Seismic energy is moving. All that energy that we've seen in southern Mexico is going north. It's moving north. This earthquake is a 3.25. The others here are 3.2s, 3.3s, 3.2s, 3.1s, 3.1s, and 3.1s. There are 10 earthquakes there. 3.2s and all the others are 3.1 earthquakes. They're moving north. They're moving north, guys. We gotta watch. All that energy is moving north. Here's another one over by Mexicali on the Mexican side of the U.S. border. This is a 3.2 earthquake here, just on the Mexican side of the U.S. border. Look at these earthquakes over here. Imperial Valley. Imperial Valley. They're also not showing earthquakes here in the southern part of the Imperial Valley here. Guess what? There's 400 earthquakes here. 400 earthquakes here. I can prove it. Maybe tomorrow, on the program tomorrow night, I will show you all the seismograms here, because there's a ton of earthquakes here. Juanito, who is monitoring the program from El Centro, California, which is just south. El Centro is right over here in the Imperial Valley. Juanito has felt those small 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes. There's about 15 of those here in El Centro today. Juanito's felt those. 3.0, 3.9 earthquakes and larger, you're going to feel. Juanito's felt that. Okay? It's happening. It's happening all the time. Now, these earthquakes here, these extend from over here, right next to the Salton Sea here in the Imperial Valley, over into San Diego County here. Earthquakes. What are they going to? Julian, California, the Apple capital of San Diego. Julian, California. That's a 1.46. Right next to it is a 2.34, and right next to that is a 1.01 tremor. Okay? Tremors. These earthquakes are extending over into San Diego East County. This earthquake is over just northeast of Escondido, California. Lake Hodges. Lake Hodges. This is where I used to fish. We're seeing these earthquakes in San Diego County. Lake Hodges in San Diego County. Julian, Lake Hodges, Borrego Springs. Borrego Springs, the Anza Borrego Desert State Park, northeast San Diego County. Guess what? Seismic activity is coming out of Mexico and hitting here. It's hitting. Then we go north. Beaumont, California. San Bernardino Mountains. Okay? It also goes into Los Angeles. Home Gardens, California here. Home Gardens, California, we have a 1.8 tremor. Corona, California. We keep having earthquakes in Corona. This is a 1.8 tremor in Corona. We've had 3.4 and even 4.5 earthquakes here in Corona, California. It's happening. We go north. Glendale, California. It's a 1.21 tremor there. Just south of there, South Pasadena with a 2.82 minor earthquake. South Pasadena over in Los Angeles. Okay? It's going. Seismic activity has moved into Southern California. Valencia, California. Valencia, California. Here's a 1.81 tremor. Just shy of a 2.0 minor earthquake. Valencia, California. It's moving. It's moving. Seismic energy has moved into Southern California, and I believe there's a much larger earthquake coming. Going over into Ridgecrest. Back in July 3rd and 4th, 2019, we had two 6.9 earthquakes, and on July 4th, we had a 7.1 earthquake here in Ridgecrest, California. Today, we have a 1.69 tremor there. Earthquakes are continuing to hit there. These are all aftershocks of the 6.9 and the 7.1 earthquake that hit here. And believe it or not, scientists are now saying that that 7.1 earthquake may have been as large as an 8.0, a major earthquake. A 7.1 is a major earthquake, but an 8.0 is an even stronger quake than that. The only reason Ridgecrest did not have any more damage than it did is because it does not have a major population base. Yes, there are probably 30,000 people that live in Ridgecrest, but Ridgecrest is spread all over the desert area of the Mojave Desert. That's why there was not more damage. Okay? That's why. Let's look over here into Northern California now. Just south of Monterey Bay. San Ardo, California, 1.84, and San Miguel, a 1.84 tremor there. San Ardo and San Miguel, California, just south of Monterey Bay. Let's go just southeast of Monterey Bay, San Benito County, a 1.49, 1.5 tremor there. San Benito County, California. Just east of Monterey Bay, Hollister, California, a 1.39, 1.40 tremor here. Just east of Monterey Bay. There's Monterey Bay right there. Let's go up into San Francisco Bay right here. Let's find out what happened. Southeast of San Francisco Bay, we have a place called Alum Rock. Alum Rock is not on the San Andreas Fault, but Alum Rock is right on top of the Hayward Fault. Right up on top of the Hayward Fault here. There's three faults that you need to be concerned with if you live in the Bay Area of San Francisco. The San Andreas Fault here. The San Andreas Fault here is going to have a 7.0 to a 9.0 earthquake here. Promise, it's coming. Probably within the next 5 years. But there may be a 7.0 earthquake in its near future before that. San Francisco Bay. What other faults are here? The Hayward and the Calaveras right there. This is where 3 major earthquake faults converge right here to south of San Francisco Bay. That's why they had an earthquake here in Alum Rock, north of Alum Rock, Alameda County. It's a 2.52 minor earthquake. Alameda County, California. Let's go north. Northeast San Francisco Bay, Berkeley, California. This is a 1.35 earthquake here. A 1.35 earthquake there, just north of there. Rodeo, California. This is a 0.87 minor tremor there. Microquake there. We have more and more earthquakes hitting this area. More and more earthquakes hitting the San Francisco Bay Area. It's a very populated area. We have people, members of our own EMA family there in San Francisco. Incredible. Franklin Brown said he saw somewhere that the Atlantic Ocean had a 5.9 large earthquake. Yes, it was last week. Right in the center of the Atlantic Ocean. Just north of the Caribbean Sea. Okay? Let me just briefly go out there, since you mentioned that. That earthquake was right here. It was a 5.9 very large earthquake here. For all intents and purposes, it was a very strong 6.0. It was a very strong 6.0 here last week. I believe it was last Thursday. Okay? It's incredible. Earthquakes are still happening. Earthquakes are still happening. We reported to you on a volcanic eruption that was stopped in Iceland. Well, guess what? That area is still having earthquakes. That area right here in the Reykjanes Peninsula here, this is the northern part of the Reykjanes Peninsula here, it's still having quakes. Today, a 2.5 and a 2.2. A 2.5 and a 2.2 right here. Now, it's not all, folks. There's more. Over in north central Iceland, we have been having a cache of earthquakes here. I believe 5 or 6 earthquakes have struck here. I'm going to just briefly tell you about this one. This one is a 2.3. A 2.3. Going south, a 2.1. A 2.4. A 2.2. And the furthest southernmost one is a 2.4. Minor earthquakes here. Guess what? This is a volcano. This is a volcano filled with water. At some point, this volcano is going to erupt. And erupt at will. It will cause a massive explosion with all that hot magma or all that hot lava hitting this cold water. It's going to cause a catastrophic explosion. There's going to be ash. There's going to be volcanic gases, sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide going high into the atmosphere. The ash is going to spread all over Iceland, all over the North Atlantic, and it may also go over into Europe. It could also go over to Europe. They've been talking about this volcano possibly erupting. Well, guess what? Look where that earthquake is here. This was probably caused by magma beneath the surface. Just so you know. Just so you know. There are all kinds of volcanoes over in Iceland. All kinds of volcanoes. And it's more likely to happen than not. It's more likely to happen than not. I just lost my map. Go figure. Not for long. I'll get it back. I always do. Now, USGS doesn't talk about half these earthquakes. Not at all. Not at all. I showed you southern Mexico. I showed you South and Central America. Well, guess what? Guess what? Look at all these earthquakes here. These earthquakes here stretch from Scandinavia, Norway and Sweden here, and Finland here. Earthquakes. Earthquakes, guys. And that's not all. That's not at all. I want to show you two earthquakes over in the Canary Islands. This one is over in La Palma Island, Canary Islands. This is a 2.2 earthquake in Los Llanos. Los Llanos is just south of where we had a volcano erupt. Los Llanos was buried by ash, a large deposit of ash when that volcano, Cumbre Vieja volcano, erupted about 2 years ago. 2 years ago. A 2.2 earthquake there, and over here near Tenerife, we have a 3.3 out here in the ocean. Tenerife, I believe, is right there. A 3.3 earthquake here. 3.3 is considered a small earthquake. The Canary Islands got hit again. Portugal, a minor earthquake hit here, and southern Spain here got hit as well. 2.0, 2.3, 2.4 earthquakes here, all over here. France, look at this. This is a 2.3 over in southern France. Look at these other earthquakes here. Over here in south central France and Switzerland. South central France and Switzerland. This is a 2.1 in south central France. We can go over here to Italy, northeastern Italy. This is a 0.7 microquake here. Okay? Let me find that earthquake here in Switzerland now. I want to show you that. This is a 1.8 in Switzerland. There is also 3 something here in Switzerland earlier this morning. 1.9, 2.1. No, they took down the 4. I think it was a 4.5 or 4.2 here in Switzerland today. They've taken that down. Look at the earthquakes here in Italy. 20 plus earthquakes here in central Italy. But that's not all, folks, there's more. There's even more earthquakes here in southern Italy as well. There were 20 earthquakes, or actually 18 earthquakes here earlier. So now we have a total of nearly 40 earthquakes here in Italy. 20 up here in central Italy, and another 10 plus here. That's a lot of earthquakes. Then, what else is going on? Sicily. We have a 1.0 and a 1.4 here in Sicily. But that's not all, folks. There's more. What is going on here off the coast? Off the coast. We have 2 more volcanoes right here. We have Mount Etna, and we also have Stromboli volcanoes. Both of those volcanoes are erupting, and erupting big time. Big time eruption here at Stromboli and Mount Etna. Okay? I want to tell you that. USGS is not, they could care less. Over here in Greece, 42 earthquakes here in Greece today. 42 earthquakes here in Greece. That's not all, folks, there's more. Crete. Down here just south of Crete. This is a 2.4 earthquake here. Look at all the earthquakes up here in the Mediterranean here. A lot of earthquakes. Over here, just west of Turkey, these are the Volcanic Islands. These islands belong to Greece as well, so these earthquakes also belong to Greece. Let's take a look at some of them. 1.7, 2.5, 1.7, 2.5, 2.3, 2.5. Here's a 2.7. minor earthquakes here. That's a lot of earthquakes. That is a ton of earthquakes to hit Greece. But that's not all, folks, there's more. Look at all these earthquakes hitting Western Turkey. Western Turkey. Is USGS showing us? No. Absolutely not. Right now, here in Turkey alone, there's over 150, 200 earthquakes here in Turkey. Not to be outdone. Over here at the Turkey-Syrian border, what is happening here? There are 60 earthquakes here at the Turkey-Syria border region. Why? Because just less than a year and a half ago, January last year, January 2023, we had a major 9.0, 10.0 earthquake to hit this area. A 9.0, 10.0 earthquake hit the Turkey-Syria border region. Over 5,000 people killed. Over 5,000 people injured. Is USGS telling us about this? Absolutely not. They're not saying one word about all these earthquakes. None. No earthquakes here in Turkey, no earthquakes in Syria, no earthquakes in Greece, no earthquakes in Italy or France, Spain, nothing. They're not saying one word about it. This is why USGS can say, oh, we're only having 184 earthquakes worldwide. That's because on their map, they're not even showing a third of the earthquakes. Not even. Not even one earthquake. Okay? Over here in Afghanistan and Tajikistan, look at these earthquakes here. These are 4.3, 4.8, 4.1 earthquakes here in Tajikistan and Afghanistan. Over in China, Zhejiang, China, this is a 4.4 earthquake. Okay? Just north of there. This is 4.2 moderate earthquake. 4.0, 4.9 are considered to be moderate earthquakes, regardless of what USGS and some of the agencies call them. They've been moderate earthquakes for a lot of years, and for them to call them light earthquakes is bullcrap. Light earthquakes should not do damage. Moderate earthquakes do moderate damage. USGS and some of these other agencies are calling them light earthquakes. That's BS. Total crap. Now I'm going to enlarge this map just a little bit. See this area down here? This fault zone here leads down into Indonesia. It leads down into Indonesia. This fault zone coming out of Indonesia comes up here to India and goes north here into the Himalaya mountains. That is why we're having all these earthquakes here. This is the edge of the plate. This is the edge of the this is the edge of the Asian plate here. That's why we're having these earthquakes. These earthquakes are anywhere from, let's see, 3.9 here. This is over between Naples and Italy, Naples and India here. A 3.9, 4.0 moderate earthquake. Further to the west, Bangalore, India, 3.0 earthquake. 2.9, 3.0 earthquake there. We go down into Myanmar, what they used to call Burma. Actually, this is Thailand here. I'm sorry, this is a 2.4 in Thailand. Burma is just north of Thailand up here. Burma's up here, this is Thailand. Over here we have Cambodia and Vietnam down here. We do have earthquakes there. Then we get over here into Indonesia. This is Sumatra, Indonesia here. We have a volcano erupting right there. Merapi volcano. It's erupting. It's erupting big time. It started erupting at the beginning of this year and killed some people. It killed hikers who were going up the side of the mountain. Okay? Over in northern Sumatra, we had a 3.1 earthquake here today. Over here near Merapi, this is a 3.8 here. It's a 3.8 here earthquake near Merapi volcano, Sumatra, Indonesia. Look at this. Central Indonesia here. Look at this. Look at all these earthquakes. Okay, Halmahera, Indonesia, Dukono, Luotola volcano. And there's about 7 other volcanoes here in this area. Earthquakes here. Okay, USGS is not showing anything like this. These earthquakes extend up into Philippines here. They're not showing them. Why not? Why not? Up here off the northeast coast of Mindanao, Philippines, we had a major earthquake up here just about 4 months ago. Right now we're having a 3.3 aftershock there. Major earthquake was an 8.4 earthquake here just 4 months ago. We're still having aftershocks of that major earthquake today. Central Mindanao, Philippines, here's another 3.4 here. Over here to the southeast, this is a 3.1. South of there, here, this is Jose Abad Santos. This is a 3.6 here. These earthquakes are coming out of Indonesia down here. All of these earthquakes are coming out of Indonesia, and they're moving. They're moving. Yesterday we had another 5.0 large earthquake here near Hualien, Taiwan. A large earthquake here near Taiwan here. Okay? We had another 8.4 earthquake here just about 3 months ago, right here. That's why we continue to see earthquakes here in Taiwan. They're not showing any here. Over in southern Japan, Uejima, Ehime, Japan, 2.80 earthquake here. 2.8. Now, I want to go over to the west part of Japan. We also saw an 8.4 earthquake here. Noto, Japan. Noto Peninsula, Japan. Here at Ishikawa, Japan, near on the peninsula of Japan, we have a 2.1 earthquake here. Again, this 2.1 is an aftershock of the 8.4 earthquake that hit here just about 5 months ago. 2.1 here, and here's a 3.0. Noto Peninsula here had 300 people dead. 300 people died. 500 people injured. Japan, one of our greatest allies, and I have friends there. Going north here in northern Japan. This is Honshu, Japan. Hinamata, Japan. We have a 2.1 earthquake here in Japan. This energy is coming from the Philippines, and before the Philippines, it's coming from Indonesia. Indonesia, Taiwan, south of the Philippines, and down into Indonesia. That's why we have earthquakes here in Japan. The seismic energy is moving north. It's moving north. From Japan, we come up to the western side of the Pacific here to Russia, the Kamchatka Peninsula. See this earthquake fault here? That same earthquake fault goes all the way down to Indonesia. Okay? It comes up here to Kamchatka. And we can have earthquakes here as a result of earthquakes that happen south of here. It happens all the time. 4.0, 5.0, 7.0 earthquakes here at the Kamchatka Peninsula, Russia. That's not all, folks. There's more. Guess what? At Alaskan. Look at all these earthquakes here. These are just minor tremors here. Minor tremors. For example, this is a 1.5. 1.15 actually in the Rat Islands here near Atka, Alaska. 1.15, 0.28, 3.9. 3.9, 4.0. Now, when we ever have anything 0.9, I take it up to the next magnitude. Why? because the agencies constantly downgrade the quakes. So this 3.9 may have been actually a 4.0 even larger earthquake earlier today. It shows a 3.9 there today. 3.9, 0.46, and a 0.31. East of there, going up into the Alaska Peninsula, a 0.1 and a 0.44. 0.1 here and a 0.44 here. Then we go into the Alaska Peninsula here. This is where all the earthquakes start. Okay? They come way out of Indonesia and work their way all the way here to Alaska. I can prove it. I've proven it in the past. I'm going to prove it again. Time and time again. Look at all these earthquakes in Alaska today. Alaska is going to have a major earthquake. With all the seismic energy that is piled up here in the Gulf of Alaska. The seismic energy is all knotted up here. This is going to explode at some point in time. We're having minor earthquakes, small earthquakes and tremors all through Alaska, right here. We had a 7.0 here 5 years ago. We had a 7.0 here over here in Anchorage. Let me pull up Anchorage here. This is Anchorage, Alaska. 5 years ago, there was a 7.1, 7.0 earthquake here. It's going to happen again. It's a matter of time. We've had plenty of seismic energy pulling up here into the Alaska Peninsula that I just showed you. We had plenty of energy pulled up here to the Alaska Peninsula, a ton of it. We even had a 7.87 earthquake here just off the coast. Let me show you. Just off the coast of Sandpoint, Alaska here. A 7.87 earthquake and an 8.7 earthquake as well. That energy's gone up here, but it has not completely left here. It stayed here. It hasn't left at all. It's all knotted up here in the Alaska Peninsula, and this is the Cook Inlet here. The Cook Inlet coming in off the northern Pacific. That energy's all knotted up in here, and it's going to pop. It's going to pop. Very little energy is left Alaska. Relatively little energy is left Alaska. The Alaska Peninsula comes up here through the Gulf of Alaska here. Over here is Valdez, Alaska and such. It comes down here and then goes down the fault line all the way down the British Columbia here. This is Queen Charlotte Island here. Down here we have the Cascadia subduction zone. We have the Cascadia subduction zone here. Right here we have the Juan de Fuca fault. But the energy's still knotted up here in the Gulf of Alaska. Yes, we have seen some earthquakes come down this fault zone, but not a lot. We're going to have a major earthquake here in Alaska, and we're also going to have a major earthquake right here. Right down here. What's going to happen here? There's going to be a Cascadia subduction zone earthquake, and it's going to be a 9.0, 10.0 major earthquake here. This whole area is going to be destroyed again. This whole area is going to be destroyed. What the earthquake doesn't take down, a 50-foot to 150-foot tsunami is going to hit this area after that Cascadia subduction zone earthquake hits. Okay? That seismic earthquake is going to stretch all the way up into Alaska. Alaska is going to feel some of it too. But that Cascadia subduction zone is going to reach all the way down here into Southern California. It's going to reach all the way down here into Southern California and into northern Mexico. Why? Because the Cascadia subduction zone is going to link up to, is already linked up to the San Andreas Fault right here. The Cascadia subduction zone right here is going to trigger the San Andreas Fault here. And then the San Andreas Fault is going to continue all that seismic energy all the way down through Southern California, all the way down through San Francisco, all the way down through Santa Barbara, and all the way down into Los Angeles and San Diego County, and down into northern Mexico. Major earthquake. Major earthquake. NCWQ explorers calling a 2.8 earthquake that just happened in Northern California. Not surprising. Not surprising. Okay? Yes, we are getting earthquakes there. 3.02 earthquake here at the Triple Junction, where the Cascadia subduction zone comes here, the Gorda Escarpment here, and the San Andreas Fault. We call this area the Triple Junction. This is a 3.02 earthquake. Right here, just east of there, Petrolia, California, a 1.41 quake, a 2.15 earthquake there as well. This is called the Mendocino Fault area. This is the Mendocino Fault right here. Okay? Over here, a 1.82 here. And over here, just to the east and south, this is a 1.29 in Redway, California. Okay? But now we've also had a 2.8 offshore in Northern California, and this map doesn't even show it yet. Okay? So I've literally taken you all over the world. I told you a little bit about Southern California. I did not touch on Yellowstone. There has not been enough earthquakes even to shake a stick at in Yellowstone. New York just had an earthquake. NCWQ Explorer says New York just had an earthquake. It's not showing on my map here. However, guess what? Up in the town of Clinton here, this is a 2.5 earthquake here. This is a 2.5 earthquake. This is just north of the Great Lakes. Just north of the Great Lakes here. There it is. Yes, no, I know it's not New York, this is Canada. I just showed you that earthquake here in Canada. Okay? But I'm not seeing that 2.5 earthquake happen yet. It hasn't come up on my map here. But literally all over the world, there are earthquakes. And USGS not showing them, it's a travesty. It's a travesty of justice. It's a travesty of justice. USGS ought to be talking about it. They should be talking about it. Right now, USGS is saying there are 265 earthquakes worldwide. Well, guess what? I've just showed you another 300 earthquakes. Another 300 earthquakes. Fascinating, huh? Absolutely is. Now, I think USGS is now showing that earthquake here. I'm trying to bring it up. Well, guess what? That earthquake off in Northern California, they're showing that 3.0 I just showed you. 3.02 up in Northern California. They showed that earthquake that's just happened. They showed it just happened. Generosity said Petrolia, California 3.0, 3.02, absolutely right. Rob 52 is also here. Rob 52 is a very good friend of mine. He lives in Arizona. He's a great deal smarter than I am. He would say, no, Ron, no, it's not true. But guess what? Rob's a good man. Rob is a great man. He was a great, great man. Now, folks, I've come to the end of our program. I want to get off the air before this new storm hits. It's going to be a doozy. I don't want to be on the air during an electronic storm. Okay? But I want to share a scripture with you. This scripture comes from Timothy in the New Testament. It starts off in verse 11, chapter 1, verse 11, and goes through verse 12. According to the glorious gospel of the blessed God, which was committed to my trust. Again, this is the Apostle Paul talking to his best friend and brother, Timothy. According to the glorious gospel of the blessed God, which was committed to my trust. And I thank Christ Jesus our Lord, who hath enabled me, for that he counted me faithful, putting me into the ministry. This is what the Apostle Paul told his brother Timothy. Brothers and sisters, apostles talk to each one of us. Put your name in the scripture. Make it come alive for you. Say the Apostle Paul was talking to you. According to the glorious gospel of the blessed God, Alana, Aubrey, Rob, Carr, Diane. According to the glorious gospel of the blessed God, Diane, which was committed to my trust. And I thank Christ Jesus our Lord, who hath enabled me, for he counted me faithful, putting me into the ministry, Diane. All of us, we can insert our own name and think of ourselves as committed to the gospel. We should be committed to the gospel. Brothers and sisters, the reason I say this is because each one of us need to be committed to the gospel. Each one of us should be reading the scriptures at least 10 minutes a day. At least 10 minutes a day. Each one of us have the reason to search the gospel. Each one of us are taught by Christ. The only way we can be taught by Christ is by going to the scriptures. To be in tune with the Holy Ghost. Because Jesus Christ is going to reveal the truth to his servants, the prophets. His servants, us on this earth. You and I can receive personal revelation for ourselves and our family. Please let us do this. We should be thanking God for everything we have. We should be praying and reading the scriptures constantly. Constantly. Diane Kellman says, I like the idea of putting our name in the scripture. It makes us feel like we're there. That is exactly right. I would commend you to do that. I would like to commend you to do that. Because you would draw closer to the Savior than ever before. Please do that, brothers and sisters. Please do that. Brothers and sisters, I love you. And I know the Lord loves you. He brought us to this earth to help other people find the gospel of Jesus Christ. To help our families, our brothers and sisters, our own children and grandchildren find the gospel of Jesus Christ. We came to this earth from heaven. We came to this earth promising Jesus Christ, our Heavenly Father, that we would come to this earth and find Christ. And do those things that we could do during our experience here on this earth to find Christ and then follow him. Follow him, draw closer to him, and obey the commandments. And in doing that, it will promise us a way back to heaven. It will give us the commitment. It will make us servants in the Lord's kingdom. It will give us the idea, hey, I can return to heaven with my Heavenly Father. And you will be bringing your children, your grandchildren, your brothers and sisters, and those other friends and close people that you have in your inner circle. There's every reason to help everyone we know come back to heaven with us. Every reason. I would ask each of you to think about that. Ponder it and pray about it. and let the Holy Ghost testify of the truthfulness of that message in your life. May God bless you. May God be with you always. We will be back on the air if anything else major happens tonight, as soon as the information becomes available. If not, we will be back on the air tomorrow night, and we will talk about more earthquakes. We will talk about more volcanoes in Hawaii if something else changes. We'll talk about other things as well. If you have anything you would especially like me to speak about tomorrow night or even the rest of this week, please send me an email. Rob and several other of our mods have put our email address up. Again, if you want to donate to our program to help us stay on the air, you can donate either in the Super Chat, you can join our membership program here on YouTube, and you can go to our PayPal and Cash App locations and help donate to us there. You can also go to our post office box, 104 North Green Street, Box 105, Morganton, North Carolina. The zip code here is 28655. I would greatly appreciate that. That would mean the world to me. We haven't had a letter or a card here in weeks, and I would love to see that. I would definitely love to see that. I love you, brothers and sisters. The Lord loves you as well. Like I said, I love to see cards and letters from you letting me know what is going on with you, and letting me know how you are responding and making sure you're prepared, number one, and number two, that you're reading your scriptures. I would love to know that. I would love to know how the scriptures are affecting your life. Please tell me about that. I would love to. I love that so very much. Folks, I want to say goodnight. I love you. The Lord loves you as well. We will see you, if not before, tomorrow night, sometime after 6 p.m. Eastern Time, tomorrow evening. Have a good night, everyone. We love you. We'll see you soon. God bless. Good night.